Congressional lawmakers are still in negotiations when it comes to the 2022 spending bill. But there is one thing that Republican lawmakers are certain about, and that is the inclusion of the Hyde Amendment and other pro-life riders. Meanwhile, pro-life lawmakers in the Senate have reintroduced the Child Tax Credit for Pregnant Moms Act, a bill aimed at allowing mothers to claim the child tax credit while pregnant. All 13 Republican senators who signed the act say the pro-life bill will provide relief to families as they prepare to welcome new children. In explaining the need for this bill, lawmakers cite increased costs of raising a child and the need to support and treat expectant mothers with dignity and respect. And joining us now from Capitol Hill is Republican Senator Steve Daines of Montana, founder and chair of the Senate Pro-Life Caucus. Senator, thank you so much for joining us today. I wanted to get started by discussing that you and several of your pro-life colleagues have reintroduced the Child Tax Credit for Pregnant Moms Act. Why is this bill important, and what is going to go into this bill becoming law?
Well, a couple of very important reasons. Number one, it recognizes the fact that an unborn child is a child, and parents should be getting a tax credit for that unborn child. But second, these expectant moms, expectant families oftentimes have a lot of additional costs getting set up perhaps for that first child or for any new baby. And just reflects the fact that there's additional expenses involved with a new baby. We want to make sure that moms get a break here and get a tax break. But also there's another important reason, I might add, and that is the birth rate in the United States continues to decline. We need to have more babies. Our birth rate now is below the replenishment number, which is 2.1 live births per couple. We're down just a little bit above 1.6. We're at the lowest birth rate in our nation's history. So I think as policymakers, we need to be protecting life, of course, helping expectant moms, of course, but also promoting policies that encourage having more children. We need more babies.
Could not agree more. And Senator, how does the bill work? When exactly will mothers receive the credit?
Well, they'd receive the credit, depends on when they get pregnant, but they'll receive the credit if they are pregnant during a tax year. They get the credit looking back in that current year, or if they get pregnant in the first part of a year, you get it in that year. So it just depends on when the pregnancy occurs. We've got the mechanics worked out. They make complete sense. It's a very workable solution. Think of it this way. Think of it as it's like a child tax credit ×2 for that first year that baby comes into the world. And that's just a great help here for expectant moms.
Yes, and the bill makes it clear that these funds will not be given to women who decide to have an abortion. How will that be monitored?
Yeah, well, there might be a situation where there might be a stillborn birth, as an example, and a physician can present a stillborn certificate, and they'd be eligible for the tax credit. But if a baby is aborted, of course, there'd be no credit allowed.
I see. And I wanted to get your thoughts on the status of the 2022 spending bill as well while we have you. We know that government funding is set to run out on February 18th, and Capitol Hill correspondent for EWTN News Nightly, Eric Rosales, had a good conversation with Senator James Lankford of Oklahoma last week. This is what he said.
I've actually talked to some of the leaders in the negotiation yesterday about this. They're assuring me height protections are going to be there, Weldon protections are going to be there. They're saying news. All of those things are going to be there. They're not going to budge on.
Senator, where are we now with the 2022 spending bill? Can we really be assured that these pro-life provisions will be included?
We've been fighting hard. I think the answer is yes. We have made it very clear with the leadership that if you remove any height protections, those are poison pills. That means the spending bill would not pass. So I'm confident because of a unified pro-life front within Republican senators, we have the votes to stop any spending bill that would remove the height protections. Because of that, they're going to be included in this latest spending bill.
Senator Steve Daines of Montana, thank you for holding the line and for your strong pro-life leadership.
Thank you.
And joining us now via Skype to talk more about the latest pro-life news on Capitol Hill is Marjorie Dannenfelser, president of the Susan B. Anthony List. So glad you could join us today, Marjorie.
Hey, Prudence. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. I know that you know Senator Daines very well. He is the chair of the Pro-Life Caucus. What are some of the biggest ways that the Pro-Life Caucuses in both the House and Senate have advanced the cause of unborn life recently?
These caucuses are really important. I actually was the director of the House Pro-Life Caucus a million years ago. And Senator Daines is the founding chair of the Pro-Life Caucus in the Senate. It's really vital because it's where they get together, they discuss and vet message all the issues that are coming up that are related to pro-life. Senators are so incredibly busy that sometimes they just don't even know that something's happening, and so they need the leadership that Senator Daines provides to get them focused, to get them on message, to help them be as ambitious as they can possibly be, and to make sure that it's kind of a whip team for life when it comes to votes coming up, making sure that everybody in the loop knows what to do and how to vote.
So important. And Marjorie, shifting gears, I want to ask you, how will this idea of a child tax credit being extended to pregnant moms play into a post-Roe world? I know that this is something SBA List has advocated for years now.
It is, and it makes total sense that you get a tax credit for your child when the child has come into being, which is, of course, at conception. Not waiting for the child to be born. The expenses and costs at that time, especially if you're facing an unexpected pregnancy, can be daunting. So a tax credit makes total sense. It's a complete pro-life move. It's very difficult for folks even on the other side of this issue to say, no, I don't want a tax credit for a pregnant mom. So it's a real winner of an issue. And more importantly, it will concretely serve women and children who need the help.
And I wanted to get your thoughts on some other pro-life news. The Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals just recently allowed Tennessee's anti-discriminatory abortion bill to remain in effect. I understand you spoke to Tennessee Governor Bill Lee about this. What did he have to say?
Well, he's just incredibly excited. This is a governor, I've met with many lately, and he is very special. He is very strong. He, of course, really always appreciates the support of the pro-life movement. But every time I talk to him, he says, this is what I was put here to do. This is my job. So he'll accept the thanks, but in great humility. The significance of this particular bill is vital, too. It's a non-discrimination bill. So you can't discriminate for reasons of race, gender, or disability. And the Sixth Circuit allowing this go into effect is a huge win. It's also something that hasn't been happening for the last 50 years. So allowing this bill to go into effect and then acknowledging that Indiana has a similar bill signed by Governor Pence at the time that was not allowed to go into effect means there's a disagreement between two circuit courts. And so that disagreement brings the Supreme Court into the decision-making there, and it's further pressure on the court to resolve the Dobbs decision, looking at the overturn of Roe versus Wade in our direction. So it's fantastic. Leadership is beautiful. He deserves all of our love and praise.
Yes. And one final question, Marjorie. You, along with fellow pro-life advocates, are advocating for more resources for families. We're following abortion law in the courts closely. What else is the pro-life movement doing to prepare for the years ahead?
Well, we and our allies all across the pro-life movement are very focused on serving the needs of women and children after we pray Roe is either partially or completely in the dustbin of history, when there are more unexpected pregnancies, and there will be more unexpected pregnancies than we've ever been faced with. We need to be ready. We need to be ready in love to serve woman and child, especially in those first 2 years of the baby's life. So what our work at Susan B. Anthony List through her plan is to lift up all of the services that are already available, find out where the gaps are in every state, and make sure that the community is connected to those services. And most importantly, the mother up in the middle of the night wondering what in the world is she going to do when she wakes up tomorrow and faces the day, and what will she do? She can't be alone. We need to be walking with her very concretely and in love.
Yes, such important work that you're doing, and it's always a joy to speak with you. Marjorie Dannenfelser, president of the Susan B. Anthony List. Thank you.
Thank you, Prudence.